All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is show you in this video a quick basic of Excel, talking about a few basic things from arithmetic and a few simple formulas that you could use almost every day when you are doing your work as a school counselor at your school. Now, I know Excel can be kind of intimidating. Most people, when they open up Excel, they see this very big, intimidating worksheet, which frankly is pretty scary. What do I do with this? There's all these boxes, I have to fill them out. How do I do that? One thing I like to tell people is let's make it a little bit less intimidating. Let's make it feel a little bit more like Microsoft Word. So I do what's called a page layout. Here you can see it already looks a little bit more like Word. You can change the layout for your liking. I'm going to just put orientation so I have a little bit more room to work with. But you can already see that it looks a little bit less intimidating. I always go ahead and put my title at the header. It's a little bit easier. We'll call it data sheet. Obviously, you don't want to have something so generic when you're having many Excel sheets, but it's good to have that as a label. Make sure to title your documents. Don't just make workbook 1, workbook 2, yada yada. So when you go ahead and create a sheet, you want to go ahead and create fields. You want to create your fields, for example, name, grade, age, marks, attendance, pre-post. You want to get that data that you need, and you'll collect it from various different sources. Sometimes you'll have it from paper. I'm hoping that eventually we're working more and more to get this stuff online. I showed you guys how to use Google Surveys, which is a great way of getting your pre-post data. It puts into an Excel spreadsheet and makes it great for you to go ahead and disaggregate and really calculate that data you're looking for. But if you must actually input it by yourself, Excel is a great way to go ahead and calculate that data. I'm going to go ahead and delete this so it can actually work. Okay, so here's just some sample fields: name, grade, age, marks, attendance pre, attendance post. So let's say we're doing an attendance group or something. I only went ahead and put 3 names. Obviously, we'll be working with a lot more than 3 names. Most times, I actually have anywhere from 30 to 100 kids. So just for the sake of time, I'm just going to put 3 people, but this works for many different things. So let me go ahead and show you guys. This is something from our little cheat sheet that I gave you. Again, go straight from there. Let's just do some really basic arithmetic. Now, to do any type of just simple math problem, you want to go ahead and you want to start with an equal sign. Let's just say that we want to, for some reason, figure out what the total number or what John and Steve's age is. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but maybe you might want to figure out their combined age. What you want to do is you want to put an equals. That will tell the computer we're about to do a math problem. You go ahead and click on John's age. You hit plus, and you put Steve's age. And then you hit enter, and it gives you the total. Now let's say I actually wanted to add all 3 of these together. I'll go ahead and do the same thing. 13. John's age plus Steve's age plus Trish's age. Now, you could tell actually after a while, especially if you're trying to do 40 different names, that could be a little bit time taxing. So there's also another formula that you could use. It's called a sum, which adds a whole range of things. So instead of doing all 3 of those, you can actually type in equals sum. You go ahead and highlight that range, and you hit enter, and it will give you the addition of all of those names. Pretty cool little thing. And again, this works for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You can even create formulas yourself if, for example, which I'll show you in a second, the David effect of calculating change. Make sure you're using your order of operations, using parentheses. Parentheses are really important because if you miss the order of operation, the Excel form might miscalculate your data. So make sure you double check all of your work. Okay. So let's go ahead and do one formula that a lot of us use, which is averages. So here's an example of a custom calculation. I want to do the average age of these students. So I'll go ahead and do a sum of all of those ages. So I got that, close parentheses, and I know it's 3, so I'll divide by 3. So I know the sum divided by the number is going to be the average. And that calculates their average. But There's probably an easier way of doing that in Excel, because Excel's got a lot of mathematical formulas. And you're right, there are an easier way. You can actually type in equals average, and you can go ahead and select that range. Close the parentheses, and it gives you the same thing. One really cool thing about Excel as well is that it actually does a lot of the work for you when it comes to formulas. You don't have to type in the same formula over and over and over again. So let's say I want to know the average grade, the average marks, the average pre, the average post. I don't have to type in that all in. What I can do is ask Excel to duplicate that formula across this, and this column. The way I do that is that you'll notice in the bottom right corner, it becomes a crosshair when you move the cursor over. What you want to do is you want to click and hold and drag that all the way across, and it goes and it calculates those averages for you. So it makes it really easy to go ahead and calculate that. So here we see all the averages: the average age, the average mark, the average pre, the average post. Let's go ahead and calculate the average change. What I'm going to show you here is a formula called the David effect. Something I learned from Trish Hatch. And this is a formula that quickly calculates change. The way you formulate the David effect is post minus pre. We'll go ahead and put this in parentheses, because again, you have your order of operation. Very important that you put that together. All divided by pre. Just for reference. So let's go ahead and practice that. Hit equals. We have our open parentheses, post, minus pre, close parentheses, divide by pre. And there we have our David effect. Hit enter, and we notice that we have a drop of 7% in attendance. And let's go ahead and see what we have here. Good, our attendance problems are going down. That is definitely something that I want to happen. So if say they had 8 absences, now they have 1 absence. So on average, we are dropping about 1 absence. So we're doing something positive. Now here we have it in decimals. If you want to create it into percentages, very easy to do. All you have to do is go ahead and go to Format Cells and go ahead and turn it into a percentage. And you'll see that change, which is what we want. So really quickly, I've just shown you how to do addition, how to do subtraction, your basic stuff, formulas, and the David effect. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to work with some other formulas and use them in things like student contact logs.